Why is it that when two guys walk into the same room, one instantly gets noticed, and the other is completely invisible? Think about that for a second. Same environment, same music, same crowd. But somehow, one guy becomes the center of attention without even trying, and the other feels like he doesn't exist. If you've ever wondered why that happens, and more importantly, how to become the guy girls notice first, this video is for you. But before we dive in, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and stick around till the end, because what you're about to learn can genuinely change the way people see you, and even how you see yourself. Now let me tell you a short story. A few years ago, there were two friends. Let's call them Ayan and Bilal. Both were similar in looks. Same height, same build, same style of clothes. On paper, there was nothing dramatically different between them, but every time they went out, something strange happened. Girls noticed Ayan almost instantly. They would glance at him, smile, sometimes even start conversations. Meanwhile, Bilal stood right next to him, unnoticed. One day, Bilal finally asked, "What are you doing differently?" And Ayan said something that changed everything. He said, "It's not about doing more. It's about signaling differently." That's when it clicked. Attraction isn't random. It's not luck. It's not even just about looks. It's about signals. Today, I'm going to break down the real science behind why girls notice some guys first, and how you can become one of them. Let's start with the first and most powerful factor: presence. When a guy walks into a room, people subconsciously ask one question: does he belong here? Not verbally, not consciously, but their brain scans for it instantly, and the answer comes from your body language. Confident men don't rush. They don't fidget. They don't look around nervously seeking approval. They move slowly. They take up space. Their shoulders are relaxed. Their head is steady. Why? Because calmness signals status. There's a psychological principle behind this. People who feel safe and in control don't need to prove anything. And that quiet confidence is incredibly attractive. Now compare that to someone who walks in quickly, avoids eye contact, adjusts their clothes constantly. It signals uncertainty, and uncertainty is invisible. The second factor is attention direction. Most guys make one critical mistake. They look at everyone for validation. Their eyes scan the room like they're asking, "Do I look okay? Am I accepted?" Here, but the guys who get noticed first do the opposite. They don't seek attention, they direct it. They look at things with intention. They observe, not beg for approval. And when they make eye contact, it's brief, calm, and controlled. This creates curiosity, and curiosity is powerful. Because when someone can't fully read you, their brain tries harder to understand you. That's when attraction begins. Now here's where things get interesting. The third factor is emotional contrast. Imagine two guys again. One is trying too hard, laughing loudly, talking nonstop, over-explaining everything. The other is more reserved. He speaks less, but when he does, people listen. He smiles, but not constantly. His energy rises and falls naturally. Which one stands out more? The second one. Because humans are wired to notice contrast. If you're always on, there's nothing special to notice. But if your energy has variation, calm, then playful, then calm again, it creates emotional spikes. And emotional spikes create memorability. This is why mystery often beats loudness. The fourth factor is social proof. This one is huge. When a girl sees that other people respect you, laugh with you, or naturally include you, her perception of you instantly changes. You don't have to tell her you're interesting. The environment tells her. That's called pre-selection. It's a psychological shortcut where people assume value based on how others treat you. But here's the mistake many guys make. They try to fake it. They force conversations. They overcompensate. They act louder than they really are, and it backfires. Because authenticity is part of the signal. Instead of trying to impress everyone, focus on genuinely connecting with a few people. real laughter, real conversation, real presence. That's what creates magnetic energy. Now let's talk about something most people ignore. Silence. Yes, silence. The guys who get noticed first aren't always the loudest. Sometimes they're the quietest. But it's not awkward silence. It's composed silence. There's a difference. Awkward silence feels like emptiness. Composed silence feels like control. When you're comfortable not speaking, you signal that you don't need to fill space to be valued. And that's rare. In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the person who doesn't try stands out the most. Now let's go deeper. The fifth factor is unpredictability. Not in a chaotic way, but in a subtle, intriguing way. If someone can predict everything about you within 5 minutes, there's no excitement, but if there's a slight mystery, if your reactions aren't always obvious, if your personality unfolds slowly, that creates intrigue. Think about it. People are drawn to puzzles, and when your personality feels like something to discover rather than something immediately obvious, people lean in. The sixth factor is self-focus. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's true. The guys who get noticed first aren't focused on being noticed. They're focused on their own experience. They're enjoying the music. They're engaged in their own world. They're not constantly checking who's watching them, and that creates a powerful shift, because attention flows toward those who don't chase it. When you're fully present in your own reality, people become curious about you. They start watching you, trying to understand you, and that's when attraction builds naturally. Now here's something most people won't tell you. Attraction isn't about being perfect. It's about being distinct. If you blend in, you disappear. But if there's something slightly different about your energy, your behavior, your vibe, you stand out. It could be your calmness, your eye contact, your timing, your humor, your stillness. It doesn't have to be loud, it just has to be real. Let's go back to Bilal for a moment. After that conversation with Ayan, he didn't suddenly become louder or more outgoing. He changed one thing. He slowed down. He stopped chasing reactions. He focused on how he carried himself instead of how people responded. And something interesting happened. At first, nothing changed. But then gradually, people started noticing, not because he became someone else, but because he stopped trying to be seen and started being present. That's the shift. So if you're sitting there thinking, how do I become the guy girls notice first? Don't ask, how do I get attention? Ask, what signals am I sending? Because every movement, every glance, every pause is communicating something, and the moment you become aware of that, you gain control. Before we wrap this up, let's lock in a few key ideas. You don't need to be the loudest. You don't need to be the funniest. You don't need to be the most attractive. You need to be intentional. With your presence. With your energy. With your focus. Because attraction isn't about forcing people to notice you. It's about becoming impossible to ignore. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of most people, so don't forget. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, watch this video again and actually apply what you've learned. Because knowledge without action changes nothing. But applied knowledge, that changes everything. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.